All right. All right. So let's get started. Okay.
Right.
So would you like to introduce yourself and your project?
Hi, yeah, my name is Jason Eno. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fizol. We're a social marketplace for NFTs. Just think of a TikTok for NFTs.
Great. And so like if you had to kind of give a your elevator pitch, like what would that be? Like a 30-second elevator pitch, like a
Yeah, so we
description of, like
Mhm.
how it works and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so we're a mobile application. We've launched like a iOS beta right now.
Mhm.
We're essentially TikTok for NFTs. So we feel like creators really want to create and we want to shepherd the NFT curious into the space. So people that may not know what a wallet is or how to set one up,
Sure.
we are like an all-in-one platform. So they don't need to go to different applications to navigate the space.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, people are already familiar with TikTok and how that works. And yeah, like for me, I really feel that the kind of the next phase of blockchain or crypto technology is to have it be seamless. You can use the technology without having to know like the core technology behind it, So that level of abstraction that's coming into the market. So yeah, it's a great, spot to be in NFTs and social media at the same time. It's like the core of, Web3. And
Oh,
so
absolutely.
yeah, so tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, what got you involved in this space, crypto, and um, why decide to get into this space?
Yeah, so this might be a little bit of a rambly response, but
Sure.
Fizzle actually had nothing to do with crypto, Web3, NFTs when we first started. So a little bit about me and my background. So I guess early 2020, I was in a graduate program at University of California
Mhm.
or University of Southern California, USC. The program was called the Iovine and Young Academy. It was
Mhm.
started by Andre Young or Dr. Dre as
Okay,
his
yeah.
alias and Jimmy Iovine. After they sold Beats to Apple, they started this program at USC for entrepreneurs and startup founders. My degree is a master's of science in integrated business design, business and
Mhm.
technology. So
Right.
it's supposed to kind of be like a all-inclusive, like interdisciplinary field where you can kind of talk to like design teams and like dev engineers and business
Definitely.
folks alike, and
Mhm.
really be able to like navigate the space effectively.
Great.
So spring of 2020, I finished my degree at USC. Um, and then we were in the pandemic for a few months at that time,
Mhm.
and what I really found was a lot of my friends and colleagues were working remotely for the first time in their life, um, and picked up like different types of hobbies, like a
Mhm.
lot of us did. Started
Yeah.
baking like sourdough at home, or kind of started painting or doing crochet or like little DIY projects at home.
Definitely.
um, yeah, and so what a lot of my friends and colleagues ended up doing was taking like these new skills and like
Mhm.
artistic kind of products that they were creating,
Yeah.
and putting them on Etsy. And so like me, I wanted to I like supporting artists and creative people and works. So I try to find them on Etsy and kind of promote and buy their stuff on Etsy. And I felt like uh, and it was like my first experience on that platform, and I just
Mhm.
felt like it was a really saturated marketplace where you
Yeah.
can just see a whole lot of different types of hand knitted sweaters and
Yeah. A
little
lot of
like handmade
competition.
candles and stuff like that. And it was just like
Yeah.
it was hard to kind of find and support the friends that I was there for.
Mhm.
So really, we kind of created Fizzle as a creative community where uh, it was more of like an e-commerce platform, or
Mhm.
that was kind of like how we set it up, was just a website where um,
Yep.
myself and a partner that I partnered with early on, who was an artist in LA, in
Mhm.
Los Angeles. And so our idea was to kind of every quarter or every season, we would get like a cohort of about like a dozen different types of artists and creators, from sculptors to 3D artists to musicians and DJs and such. Um,
Yeah.
get them all together in like a curated way, and help promote and support them through that season. And
Mhm.
we would cycle through that, and maybe they would create collaborative works and such.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was kind of like late 2020 when we got that going. Um, it was pretty difficult to kind of manage with a lot of the artists being actual like physical, creating like physical goods.
Hmm.
And so we ended up putting the project down in like hibernation mode for a few months there.
Yeah.
And then in about like February 2021 was when like Beeple sold his NFT for
Hmm.
69 million. And that's, I think, might still be like the highest selling NFT to date.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
that was my actually first time um, learning about NFTs, and
Hmm.
I've known about crypto and Bitcoin since like 2010 or so,
Yeah.
but I've never really invested in it too heavily. Um, and this was the first time for me hearing about NFTs, and then and I was also kind of, I had used TikTok for about a year or so at that point, and just saw a very like younger audience and a new format for social media that was
Mhm.
very akin to what was out there, but it was just more accessible and had more utility than like like Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
Snapchat, and such. Um, so I kind of saw NFTs and like this social aspect, and I looked into them and went on OpenSea and tried to buy a NFT, and it took a few hours to do the transaction
Yeah.
and like figure out how to like, oh, what's this digital wallet? Why do I have to like set up like Coinbase, and why does Coinbase have a separate like coin wallet? And then like,
Yeah.
what's this MetaMask? And then
You
how
still
do I
kind of
link
learn
that to
how.
OpenSea? Yeah, and if
It's
I
like you
wanted
kind
to
of learn
create my
how
own,
like a blockchain wallet versus like a custodial wallet. And a lot of
right?
people don't really know that, so it's like a pretty big barrier to entry.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm someone with kind of like somewhat of an education and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an interest, and I grew up in Silicon Valley, Bay Area my whole life, and it was a little difficult for me to navigate. And if I wanted to mint my own NFT, like that's a whole nother process. So I wanted to kind of find a mobile app that did that, and there wasn't anything at the time that I saw that was really effective. Like
Mhm.
everyone was kind of like web-based apps.
Sure.
um, and then even when I was going on OpenSea, uh, I wanted to try to find an NFT that was just affordable, something that was maybe like less than $100 that I
Mhm.
can just purchase and just see how that transaction worked. And it was somewhat difficult to find just an NFT just to buy just for that reason, just because
Yeah.
a lot of the marketplaces, and still they promote kind of the trending or like top rated NFTs,
Yeah.
and
Also, gas
or the
fees
highest
early
selling.
on too, as well. Like, it's
Right.
$100 for transaction. So on Ethereum,
Right.
yeah.
I was like, did I just get scammed? Like I've heard of all these rug pulls and stuff, but did that just happen to me? Um, and actually that's the reason why the artist that I worked with, he kind of like left the project early on, because once we pivoted to, or I decided to pivot to NFTs,
Mm.
he as an artist had like really bad experiences where he said he tried to do drop collections, and it seemed like very predatory
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
like different platforms that support um, and marketplaces that you may use to promote NFTs. So we kind of
Yeah.
like, I kind of restarted Fizzle, rebranded it as like a NFT social marketplace for NFTs, and that's really how it started back in like early mid 2021.
Mhm.
I brought James, my co-founder, on. He is a software engineer over at Block, and he's been there for a while, and he's been a software engineer for about a decade or so. And he has like a lot of, well, he works in fintech, and he just happened to be someone that I'm really close with. We went to high school together, we grew up together, and
Mhm.
we like to share ideas. And um, once he was on board, I think things like really took off for us and developing. And I created the initial designs and everything and mock-ups in Figma,
Mhm.
and still
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like do a
Yeah.
lot of like the product design there. And then he's done 100% of the development.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's a little slower than what we want
Of course, but
as
the
far
market
as,
changes so fast. So you're able to pivot and kind of figure out what's going on. So you basically answered my next question, was like how you differ from other projects. But I remember talking to you before, and you mentioned how you try to like match up, kind of creative feeds. Like people can
right.
discover new projects that might be more suitable for them. Like, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, and how's that different from other projects, and even come social networks?
Yeah, and like now, I think recently, like 2022, a lot of like OpenSea, a lot of platforms have adopted kind of like a comment and like heart type of model into like their NFTs where people can socially engage.
Mhm.
I still haven't really seen a curated feed
Yeah.
that's like really effective, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And that's really why I wanted to adopt a social platform, is to put the right NFT in front of the right person,
Yeah.
and just have that curated experience. People have like curated pieces of art, and like
Mhm.
there's curated art galleries.
Yeah.
And I really want to treat Fizzle that way, where people feel like they have a very unique experience and are
Mhm.
able to like build and find and discover like these unique communities that they kind of they vibe with, that really resonate with them.
Definitely. Yeah. It's like I would love to get my hands on that TikTok algorithm. You know, it's like people say
Yeah.
it's like digital crack, you know. Yeah, it's
Oh
actually
yeah.
so my next question, it is about community, you know. It's like you know, it's like how do you see kind of communities being developed on your platform, and how can people get involved with the project, you know? Um
Yeah.
yeah, so do
No,
you
yeah.
will you like, you know, kind of target to certain communities, or do you want people to come to you organically?
Yeah, so right now we kind of have a very organic approach.
Hmm.
Um, in my mind, we would really support and adopt the NFT curious creator.
Hmm.
So creators that might be digital artists, maybe they're not even digital artists, maybe they do like paintings,
Yeah.
and they don't really identify as really tech savvy, or still don't understand what crypto is,
Yeah.
or they may have heard of Bitcoin or NFTs or something, but
Sure.
really like get those people
Hmm.
on board, and that are familiar with like Web 2
Yeah.
applications.
Because I
And
remember
that's that.
you showed me a demo, and it seemed pretty easy to actually list and mint your NFTs. Because like, you know, I meet, you know, NFT artists all the time, and they have trouble with that technical part. So yeah, it'd be a great tool and resource for them to bring their art or whatever kind of, you know, um, project they're working on onto the web. You know, make and being able to get paid for their artistic endeavors. You know, that's what's great about this era, is that finally the artists are getting paid. It's no longer a starving artist. It's it's like a wealthy, valued artist.
Right. Yeah. And like we definitely want to make it accessible and
Mhm.
familiar. That's why we wanted to kind of use a familiar UI UX from like Web 2.
Yeah.
And even when you sign up for our app, like you can download it and create an account with us within a couple minutes of that.
Mhm.
Uh, this was kind of a key decision point for us in how we would kind of launch this product, but keeping in mind that our main user base are people that are brand new to Web3 crypto NFTs. um, we decided to go with a model where the onboarding uses an email address, and then you create a username and password,
Mhm.
just like very traditional Web 2
Yeah.
social media. And then we generate a Fizzle wallet in the background for them. It's a non-custodial wallet, so we
Mhm.
provide their public and private keys. We don't have access
Yeah.
to their private keys,
Mhm.
um, and then they maintain it on their own. But yeah, we do that all within the application. The whole feed looks and feels a lot like Instagram or TikTok. The way you mint on the platform, you could even mint within a few seconds.
Mhm.
Right now, it's meant to be somewhat simple in its design. So right now, we're just kind of pulling from your phone's photo album, and you just kind of pick a photo, give it a fun little name and description. You could either list it for sale or not for sale on our app.
Mhm.
And that's part of our business model is if you do list for sale, it's like 0.000025 ETH or something.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very small. It's very marginal
Definitely.
um, to list for sale, and then you just put a ETH or just like a crypto value for that you want to list it at, and then you submit it. And there's if whatever chain you want to build on or like mint on
Mhm.
that you choose, which is another thing that I wanted to kind of share with you is
Oh
a new
yeah. Yeah.
development.
Definitely. Yeah, it's
But
like, you know, because we had a previous discussion where it's a lot of the high value, you know, NFTs are on, you know, Ethereum, and that might not be accessible for everybody. But it is kind of like a status symbol. You know, if you have a Bored Ape, like that kind of elevates your profile, you know, a little bit.
Right. So yeah, we're
Yeah.
definitely built on Ethereum right now. And our something that's really exciting is that like Ethereum is still like the most commonly
Mhm.
used
Yeah.
like network to kind of like build NFTs on. But the gas fees are just killer. Like it's
Yeah.
for an application like us where we want to really focus on um, a high volume of more like microtransactions and really have a high active daily user um, count for our platform.
Mhm.
We really want to kind of like adopt like a multi-chain wallet, which we're building out. And
Sure.
um, the next thing is Polygon. So
Uh-huh.
we actually just kind of finished, almost wrapped up integrating that, and so like that'll be a part of our next update. So just
Great.
look out for that within the next day
Yeah.
or two.
You actually
Um,
answered my next question, was like, where do you see like the technology going and the crypto market when it comes as it relates to your product? And so it's basically, yeah, you answered that question. And, and I really believe that Polygon is a great choice because it's, with this Terra Luna situation, a lot of like developers are moving on Polygon for their kind of layer two, development. So yeah, so you mentioned like where it's moving in the recent future, but where do you see
mhm.
it going, say like 5 years from now? Like kind of like is there any like piece of technology when it comes to crypto that's not available yet that you think would improve your project? Or what's like the wildest thing you could think of, of
Ooh, I
where
love
it'll
this.
go?
Yeah, I have. So as part of our deck, I kind of have a actually that's
Mhm.
like the name of that slide is like, oh, the places we'll go. I kind of just rebranded to like, let's go. But I
Yeah.
have it in like three different steps. So like the immediate,
Hmm.
like what we want to do to kind of really round out this application and have it in a place where like a high fidelity place for the Apple App Store,
Hmm.
and then kind of like an intermediary. So maybe within the end of the year or so. And then we have like kind of like a in the future like what we're going to, and like of course like the metaverse is
Hmm.
kind of like a very idea that's maybe more widely known within this
Yeah.
past year since Facebook switched to Meta. And of course, like as we know, like the metaverse is kind of like broader than just Facebook Meta right now, and
Yeah.
they kind of just kind of branded that
Exactly. Well, they
for
they,
themselves
they
right now.
they see where things are going and they're trying to like get in front of it. But the metaverse is decentralized, and a centralized company like Meta, they will have an impact. But I think people would want to have more like control over their assets and not be on like such a platform that isn't cool anymore. And kids don't really think Facebook's
Right.
cool. So I think like there's gonna be a lot more projects that are more in tune with like what people are looking for.
Right. And so like I guess like a far-reaching technology that I would like to invest R&D in
Mhm.
is like quantum chain
Okay. Yeah.
research. So figuring out how you can best pair or utilize quantum computing
Hmm.
and that technology with blockchain,
Yeah.
and really like ramp up that speed and see
Definitely.
and pair that with like AI models and such,
Mhm.
and
So you can actually live in the
really see where that
metaverse.
potential is. Exactly.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
I believe the quantum is really good at rendering stuff, so you can render instantly and have like beautiful landscapes and like things you can't even imagine. So
Yeah, and I'm
yeah.
really very not necessarily concerned, but it is definitely something that a consideration of ours is to make sure our wallets and our platform is like quantum safe,
Yeah, yeah,
So like
quantum resistant.
when
Yeah.
yeah, or quantum resistant for
Mhm.
sure. So we can kind of like be a step ahead of that if possible. And then with kind of like the whole metaverse, like AR, VR, XR, I
Mhm.
guess I have an Oculus Quest 2,
Yeah.
and like, well, it was really like what like I'm borrowing it from someone because they've had it for a while now and they've
Mhm.
used it like a handful of times and they never used it again. And I'm kind of in the same space
Mhm.
where it's very cool and it's a very like novel idea and everything, and it's fun to be in, but uh, it's hard to be removed, for, at least for myself and
Mhm.
like my experience in use case. Like it's fun to be in for a little bit, but I get migraines, my head hurts. It's like it's hard to be
Yeah,
like dissociated for that long, and
exactly. Yeah.
especially if it's hard to like for other people if you're in a social environment with like physically with other people. it's hard to engage while you're in an Oculus, where like with like gaming, people can see your screen and like you can kind of game together pretty easily. So I kind of feel like AR XR, I definitely want to shift more towards that.
Definitely.
Within like
Yeah.
the next maybe 3 or 4 years, I want to kind of see how like I don't I feel like this phones is kind of a stopgap.
Yeah.
I want to make sure our design kind of is able to bridge that gap between when people widely use smartphones to when people widely use AR, XR glasses or
Yeah.
other types of devices to engage with the physical, like our physical reality in space,
Yeah.
but
'Cause
with like an enhanced way.
yeah, I've always said that, you know, 'cause like, so just like, VR headsets, like, we're at an age to where we live most of our life without them. So it's hard
Mhm.
to adjust to it. And same thing with these
Right.
phones. Like I said, like it's only, it's not something we can't think of our life without it, but I've also lived most of my life without that as well. And I think
Mhm.
the future, if phones aren't going to be the center of, the way we communicate or engage with all these technologies, I really believe that if we build a true decentralized ecosystem for Web3 and beyond, we won't need
Mhm.
these devices because we'll have points of contact everywhere. We might just need glasses, or we can walk up to any type of monitor screen and have access to our data or whatever apps or that we need or that we use in regular basis.
Yeah,
So
and
that's kind of
I
where I
don't
see
know
it
if
going.
that's, yeah, and I don't know if like that touch point is going to be kind of like a biotech or like bio enhanced type
Hmm.
of touch point. I have some family that are really into like biotech art. They work in like biotech R&D and stuff, and
Yeah.
started startups in that field. And
Hmm.
I think it's really exciting to kind of like design in that space and see how to merge like our like biology
Yeah.
and like other parts of our physical world into our virtual, or like see how they connect in that way. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think like glasses are really cool, but then again, like why not do like contact lenses, or like what's the next step? Why
Yeah.
like what kind of enhancements can you do, or touch points can help support um that communication, I guess.
Definitely. Yeah, I always describe it as, you say you walk into a hotel room, you do one scan of whatever you have, maybe an eye scan or a bracelet, and then everything is
Mhm.
ready for you. Like on TV, has your Netflix account, has your playlist, music's ready, has all your accounts linked up to the refrigerator if you want to order something, or,
Yeah.
your Amazon Fresh orders will come directly to that door instead of where you were. So it's like, and you have
Yeah.
access
Yeah.
to, UIs and whatever, wherever you are. So it could be the same thing in an office. You just plug in and then everything's ready for you. You have access to your Google Drive, and that's where I see it going. And your social feeds whenever you want it, and also your NFTs on TV
Oh,
nearest you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's great, and yeah, and I can see how that would work with a social platform like that, because it's like I think we talked before. Like 10 years ago when Web 2 was being developed and all these companies were competing, it was a game to develop platforms. Then after that, it's became a game to create content for those platforms. And right now we're still in the phase where we're building Web3 platforms, and so you're the content part, you're the future of that. Like once we kind of get the technology perfected, then that content is what's going to drive the adoption running into the future. So you have your whole
Oh,
digital
absolutely.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I think TikTok, people really like praise it for its algorithm, like its strong algo and stuff. And
Mhm.
it is great. But I
Yeah.
think something like its unsung hero is I believe it's the best mobile video editor and like content
Oh,
creator like tool
yeah.
or platform. And that's something I definitely want to incorporate into our platform as we go, is build out these like content creator tools,
Hmm.
whether it's
And
creating
collaboration.
like 3D art, or
Yeah.
like AR Pokemon,
Hmm.
or like skins, or filters, or anything, or anything like that. But also collaboration. I
Yeah.
think like TikTok does really well at like duetting and stitching videos,
Hmm.
and having creators create content on top of other content. And I've talked to you about this before, but really utilizing like wrapped NFTs to
Hmm.
facilitate collaborative NFT artwork, because like with like
Yeah.
a big problem with TikTok that a lot of creators have is that maybe like the reaction video or the like that second layer that's built on top of like the initial video
Hmm.
gets all the likes and support, and then the original content creator doesn't really get any love or praise.
Yeah, yeah. I think they call it
And
ratioing.
so yeah, so
Yeah,
like that ratioing I definitely want to solve. I think like NFTs and like
yeah,
that royalty distribution model will really
definitely.
help support content
And
or content
also help
creation.
when it comes to like, the rest of the economy coming into, because you have like agreements between brands that they wouldn't want to probably collaborate because they have like legal separate finance departments, and they don't want to have one company kind of supersede them or have their brand associated with something else. But if it's done in a more fluid way like that, I think they would be more likely to collaborate with other companies, and so everyone can have a piece of the pie.
Absolutely.
So
And
it's great.
I'll just add one more thing.
Okay,
So
sure.
I don't want to give it all away, but or like
Yeah.
whole roadmap away, but
Mhm.
we're kind of like a very transparent, and like we believe in transparency and
Sure.
candor with our kind of company, our project culture. Um, so I really believe we have a great opportunity to like disrupt affiliate marketing in a very
Mhm.
like meaningful and impactful way. Um, and I think like now it's easy to see how affiliate marketing and influencers really drive the content creation and like
Mhm.
these social spaces, and how do we support that in Web3. um, and I really want to support pairing like businesses or like um and organizations with content creators, and like creating like helping support that relationship, whether it's like a within the app, whether it's like a Fiverr or Upwork type of way, by kind of creating very easy to set up kind of like templates, almost like
Mhm.
Mad Libs,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
template model from like a UI UX perspective, that supports that, um, creating like utility NFTs. So say
Mhm.
if you were McDonald's and you wanted to pair with like a creator on our platform that had like 10 million followers, and you like kind of partner,
Mhm.
use our platform to set up a utility NFT collection where maybe like you get a free hamburger uh,
Yeah.
once a month or something.
Definitely.
And
That
so
would be great because like in the crypto sphere, McDonald's is associated with getting wrecked. So
right, but like
they have to
so
really
kind of like
build on it.
pairing the like the real world and like that
Mhm.
AR perspective into
Yeah.
our model. Like I think like our like the following page in TikTok is I think there's a lot more opportunity there, and I would like our following the page to be more like Snapchat's kind of like, in Snapchat you can see the people that you're following like and where they're located on a map.
Mhm.
um I would like to kind of like use that, but um for people that you follow, like for NFT creators that you follow on our platform, you can see where they've dropped or like geo dropped NFTs.
Great.
So like
Yeah.
if you're a creator that like partnered with like McDonald's, had that created that utility NFT collection, maybe
Mhm.
you drop like 500 NFTs at like different McDonald's in your area, and
Yeah.
then your
Gets people in
followers
the
can go
door.
into those
Yeah.
brick and mortars locations, collect those NFTs, and it also drives traffic, like digital traffic, but
Mhm.
also physical traffic into those spaces and marketplaces.
Great. Yeah. That sounds amazing. Yeah. There's so many ways you can monetize it and bring more value and, utility to these NFTs. So is there like, so where can people find you, and how do people get a hold of you if you're interested in the project?
Yeah. So you can find us at Fizol.io. So Fizol, Fizol.io. Our beta is up there if you'd like to, if you have an iPhone, you can download our beta and check us out, and
I'm
definitely
all
feel free to
Android,
give us
so
any. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, fast follow. Well, we're built on React Native, so that should be a quick turnaround for us once
sure.
we get there. But yeah, my email is Jason, Jason at Fizol, Fizol.io. If you want to email me, feel free to. I'd love to connect. I'll share.
Mhm.
We can share ideas together and figure out how we can best support each other.
All right, great. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you again next time.
Great. Thanks, Fanny.
You're welcome.